Hi, Dorian. This is Tatiana here. So I am going to commence your reading. All right, you're more than welcome to have a pen and paper. Just in case you want to write notes as you're following the video, I'm going to say a prayer real quickly to channel your energy into the cards. Okay, in love and light spirit, I ask that you come forth for Dorian Lynn Johnson for the highest good of all involved. And I ask that you bring forth her higher self, her spirit guides, her honorable ancestors, the Orishas, the Loas, the Archangels, Ascended Masters, and any light being entities that can give us clarity, knowledge, and guidance on Dorian's personal path and journey. Any information she most needs to hear and know, may it come forth as truth. And I thank you for allowing me to be the vessel here today. Ashe. Okay, Dorian, so we're going to venture into your question about your love interest. I'm going to pull up that question in just a moment. Let me clear this out here. Bam, 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 bam. Awesome. So we have the deck set. Your first question was to ask about James Taylor. Will you guys be together? And if not, are you meant to be with, if you're not meant to be with James, then will you marry and have children? Will you meet that person anytime soon? Okay, so you ended a situation that you had with a man that you really love, and you want to know if you're going to end back together. I'm assuming this is with James. So let's ask that first. Honorable ancestors of Dorian Lynn Johnson. Okay, so a card just flew out, so I'm going to take that into account. Give us the truth about her dynamic with James Taylor. Do we see them ending back up together romantically? So bear that in mind. I'm kind of jumping back and forth because you spread the questions out. James Taylor. Is James Taylor going to end up with Dorian Lynn Johnson romantically? Spirit, give us the truth. Are they going to be together again? Okay. Okay, so the card that flew out of the deck is the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups discusses things such as healing. Let me actually keep this card open. This card discusses things such as healing. Cups pertain to the emotional well-being of an individual. It talks about feelings, emotions, love, feeling that you have more than enough and that your cup shall overflow with. This shows that there's a lot of love connected between you guys. There isn't a sense of that meaning if you're questioning if this person loves you, vice versa, it's very evident because cards that fly out of the deck, it's very indicative of spirit wanting to let you know something on an immediate level. The thing with the Ace of Cups talks about is that there's a lot of healing that has to happen. There's a lot of healing. You may be feeling an overwhelming emotion about the situation that you've experienced with James that needs to come up to the surface to be healed and revealed and purged and cleansed of, so to speak. But usually the Ace of Cups is also a card of fertility, giving birth to a new chapter in your life, giving birth to a new opportunity. So we need to kind of get more context as to what's going on. Hence the cards I've pulled. Knight of Swords is the first card pulled for your question. Excuse me. And this card usually discusses immediate factors happening. Something that is coming to your attention. Maybe something that needs to be communicated on an immediate level. Maybe some sort of exchange of communication. Usually that's what this deals with. But you have to be careful as to how this communication takes place, because Knight of Swords can be a little aggressive. They can say things without taking into consideration other people's feelings and how the information is being said. Knight of Swords is also if something has been left unsaid, if something has been not done that you know and you feel in your heart that you have to act on. Knight of Swords is kind of putting fire underneath your butt to get it done. What's interesting is that the next card over is the Four of Wands. So putting this together can mean that there is a lot of immediate emotion about getting married. It could be news about getting married for you is happening quickly, or that this is obviously something really pressing in the forefront of your mind. The Four of Wands is a card that talks about celebration, unity, and sacred relationships. It talks about succeeding. It could talk about even marriage in the home and the emphasis of having that. But what's interesting is that we're getting the Three of Swords following after, and that talks about blockages. It talks about heartbreak. It talks about heartbreak when it comes to this topic, or maybe this feeling like this is never going to happen for you, or it's not happening with this particular person. Now, to see if it's actually going to transpire, you're showing up here as the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is very emotional. She is invested in her heart's desires, and this is also shown up as a love interest. So it shows that you're pouring your heart and your soul into this situation, and that you have the willingness to heal whatever has happened. Queen of Cups tells you that you have to be very sensitive to the situation happening with James right now between you guys, and take it one step at a time, because the Queen of Cups is confronting the Tower. And the Tower is a situation that blows up in your face. It could have either been an argument or a discord or something that has caused you guys to break up. Queen of Cups confronting the Tower here is almost saying that in some way it could have been that you intuitively knew that this was going to happen, or you could see it happening, just because the Queen of Cups is a seer. She's a natural seer. She's a natural intuitive, and she has amazing psychic sensibilities. She gives a lot with her heart and her soul, but the emphasis is on taking care of yourself and tending to your wounds rather than focusing on James and what's happening with him, because there is something here that you thought was real that is not real, that needs to be recovered. That's the Tower. Tower means that there is metaphorically a building that is crumbling and crashing before your eyes. But the situation is that most people can smell the smoke from a mile away, and they don't act on it. They don't do anything to preserve the Tower, or they're ignoring the warning signs. And so when something actually does happen, they're kind of like, oh my God, taken aback. The Tower gives you the opportunity to build the foundation from scratch in a way that's authentic and sustainable. So if this is talking about your dynamic with James, it seems like any prospects of getting married and having that unity and being in a relationship right now are not coming up, because the emphasis is on either repairing your friendship with him, or being really real and vulnerable and honest, and opening yourself up, or holding space, because the Tower can also mean that his life is in shambles. Something's going on his end. He needs to take care of things, and this isn't a time for you to necessarily meddle with that. Also, the cards that precede the Tower is the Devil and the Ten of Wands. So you have this card that's kind of bringing to attention, hello, there is work here for you to do in order for you to have that fantasy love that you want with this person. There's either work here that he needs to do, or you need to be doing in the relationship as well. You can't just jump the gun and think everything is going to be Gucci, because the issues that y'all had before can very much come up in a horrible way. So the Tower is saying, the universe is saying, we've been trying to get your attention for the longest time. And since no one has put this at priority, no one has focused on really building this, I'm going to snatch the rug from you, and you are forced to kind of really look at the situation from an objective standpoint. The devil coming out over after the tower is saying that what happened in this dynamic is kind of like a warning sign for you. The devil can represent aspects of self in which you feel like you have no power, you have no control, or it could actually be warning you that this is a situation that isn't for your highest good. Maybe you're being manipulated. Maybe this situation has shown you a reality to things that you were blinded to before. What's interesting is that the Ten of Wands came out as well. And I said the Ten of Wands next to the devil can be representing carrying on a lot of baggage. The Ten of Wands is quite literally carrying a stick of wands, trying to go to the nearest town to build a village for himself. But rather than putting these wands in a car and driving, he's doing things in a very inefficient and slow manner. This can mean that you have a lot of responsibilities on your plate, that you have a lot of expectations and demands, that there are a lot of issues that you're carrying in the relationship, or that the relationship has a lot of burdens that need to be released, healed, confronted, and alleviated. And the devil is like, hold up, this stuff is slowing y'all down. You need to look at the reality of maybe what role you're playing in this relationship, or how this relationship is taking a toll on your life, because it may not actually be the best thing for you to proceed in this relationship. What's interesting is that it is very possible for this character to come back. James, it is very possible for him to come back. We have the the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is a lover. Page of Cups brings romance. Page of Cups brings hope. It brings somebody that's like, here, look at my pretty cup. I have something for you in it. But the page in and of itself is a very youthful card in the tarot. This isn't an experienced lover. This isn't someone who's matured, who's learned their lessons. This is almost like a child. So it looks like they may have a brief solution to the problems of the relationship. But with this last card as the Seven of Swords, it could be that this person is really draining and taking advantage of your energy in reality, and you don't see it because you're too much in love with him. Hence why this card came out, because this is talking about filling your own cup. This is talking about emotional healing that needs to be happening. Whether you're in pain because of this situation, whether you need to just kind of surround yourself with love and support from other people, other women, whether you need to just open yourself up to love, because the reality of it is this looks like it's not the best match for you, you and James. But because we got these two cards in the beginning of the spread, Knight of Swords and the Four of Wands, it does look like the promise of another partner, and the relationship of that going into marriage is actually very close by. Especially the spirit is like, here you go. We're going to send you love, but we had to get rid of this guy because this is not the one for you. So let's see what else you wanted to ask. You said, will you be together? If you're not meant to be with James, then will you marry and have children? So let's see. Honorable ancestors, look into her desire. Will she be able to marry and have children? I see you. I see you having it all. I see you having it all, but you have to be very careful that you don't bring this other person back into your life, this James, because even if you want to move on, you got to make sure that you clear out your emotions and you are really ready for this new person, because otherwise you're going to be juggling two people. That's what I see. And you're going to be in a little bit of a situation. So we're getting the King of Wands. The King of Wands is someone who really feels themselves. They're very passionate. They can be very charismatic. They can be very good with crowds. They can be very ambitious. They could be, maybe sometimes they're very active, and they could even have like a big ego, like it's my way or the highway, or I think all that and a bag of chips. King of Wands is that sort of energy who is very courageous and bold, and like no one can stop this person from doing what they want to do. They're gonna do it anyway. But they usually like to take care of other people. They're very charming. They're very sweet. Their worst aspects is that they could be selfish on the bad days. They could be selfish. They could not. They sometimes they don't, focus on other people the way they need to. But this energy of this man is coming out, or is coming up. And so I don't know if this is symbolic of James or your new person, but we're getting the temperance. Temperance always says that this your life is changing. Your life is in a transition. What this means is that, if this is James, temperance is saying that you need to hold space while you find balance as your life is changing. Really, it talks about an upgrade that is happening, but you don't understand all the elements to that upgrade. You don't quite understand how your life is going to end up, who's going to come in, who's going to get out, etc., etc. Temperance brings in the element of a higher force that is kind of taking over for you. Kind of let go and let God. Just let fate do its thing and ride the wave and just stand back. There's not much here for you to meddle or to stress out about. You do need to kind of focus on your own personal balance and your spiritual balance. It is talking about, again, this higher force, whether it's an ancestor, whether it's a spirit guide, whether it's just something that you revere that's coming in to help you. It is saying that there is some sort of energy that sees everything that's going on, and that is actually controlling your life intentionally at this time to put the pieces together to allow you to have what you want, what you most need, not necessarily what you want, but what's going to work out best for you. That is temperance. So temperance kind of means that you need to slow down and have faith and have patience. Things are not going to happen overnight. You may not understand everything that's going on right now. It could be like your life is like an earthquake, and this spirit force that this energy is putting things back together, so it's locked and loaded. What's concerning is that you're getting the Nine of Swords. Now, the temperance is regarding this King of Wands guy. So you need to kind of wait until things work itself out with the King of Wands. The Nine of Swords can be showing up as a card of stress, a card in which you're over analyzing things. You either have a lot of anxiety about this topic of getting married and having children. You can't really focus on anything else, or it's just coming up, or you feel like it's not going to happen. There's a lot of weight above your head, as you can see in this photo. That's why the temperance is kind of coming out. Temperance coming out before this card is kind of saying, just let the Most High take control of your worries. That everything's going to be in the place that you most want at the time that is in perfect alignment for you. You can't control that. So do your best to kind of rest your mind and be more optimistic. So you're putting too much stress on yourself. What is interesting is that the Nine of Swords is also falling next to this King of Swords. King of Swords is the energy of a person who is very by the book. They're very direct. They're very honest. They're very, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to get, and I'm not going to compromise. Usually they don't take another person's feelings or emotions into consideration. They're not as jovial as the King of Wands that you saw in the beginning. Being that I don't know James' personality, on one end of the spectrum, it could be that you're worried a lot and you're thinking about James here. Or it could be that this is James and Spirit is telling you to let that go and let the Most High handle it. Regardless, you're going to have two characters that you're juggling. There's going to be a new guy who fits you perfectly, who is for you, and an old character that you need to let go of. And if you don't, that can present itself to be a little bit of an issue here when you're really looking for that partner, because it definitely looks like somebody is coming up soon, if not like towards the warmer seasons like spring, summer, into fall. Some of these cards kind of hit that mark. To see the Magician, though, the Magician is the energy of manifesting anything that you want. When you see that card, it is saying that you can have, you can pretty much conjure your vision. You can pretty much conjure that, oh, I want that marriage and I want that child. So it is saying yes. It is saying yes, you can get married. You can have the kids. But it's also putting you in a place being like, if you don't learn your lessons with this James person and you don't close that chapter and move on and really prepare yourself emotionally and focus on yourself and get yourself ready for this new person, then you're going to be in limbo land. Then it's going to be like, what do you want? Because you're sending mixed messages up into the air for the universe. Magician is giving you the green light on all of that, especially with this last card, Nine of Cups. So ultimately, the Nine of Cups is kind of like that genie in a bottle. It is saying that you will have it all, but there is a journey to get there. It's a card of emotional well-being. It's a card of emotional fulfillment, abundance, and prosperity. Your love is overflowing. You're being well respected, well taken care of. You feel like you have everything that you most desire. Your money's on point. Your lifestyle's on point. But it's a journey to get to the number 9, because you have to start from 0 to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the number 9 of Cups is kind of like, in retrospect, in the future, you're going to have everything you need, and you're going to be looking back at this time really grateful for what you've had to learn in order to get there. Bringing it back to the Magician, if you could do activities such as ritual work, praying to your honorable ancestors, creative visualization, vision board, writing your intentions and specifics down. Like, I want a partner that does this. I want a partner that shares this emotion with me. I want this and that. That's going to help you, because the Magician uses anything at its disposal to manifest what it wants. And because it's saying you have the power to manifest your ideal partner, you're absolutely going to have kids and stuff. It's a matter of you getting yourself ready and saying, okay, ready, universe, I know what's best for me. I want what's best for me. I'm ready to bring that energy into my life, and this is how I'm doing that. So I hope that made sense. Let's see. Honorable ancestors, do we see her meeting this person soon? Five of Swords. Five of Swords talks about being taken advantage of, someone draining your energy, someone taking advantage of you, or doing the most, quite literally. So if this is alluding back to your heartbreak and your breakup with James, where you're walking away and James is just taking all these swords, or you feel like your mind is a little all over the place, the emphasis is telling you that you shouldn't be caring about time. Time is irrelevant, because if you're not ready, then what does it matter if he's going to come in 2 months, 2 years, whatever? The timing is contingent on when you are emotionally ready to welcome in this life partner into your life. And that depends on the work that you're doing with yourself now and being really real about your situation with James. So you also asked about graduating. Excuse me. Let me go back to that question. I want to know, will I graduate and continue to further my career? Which, that question, oh, is marriage and children in the future? Yes. Career-wise, will I accomplish my goal by obtaining my education and furthering my career? Let's see. Honorable ancestors, will she obtain her education and further her career? The World fell out. So the World is feeling on top of the world. Quite literally, it is this feeling of elation. It is this feeling of integrating the hard lessons you've had to learn, spiritually growing and evolving, and kind of having it all. The world is saying that you're kind of going through this spiritual graduation, quote unquote, where this period in your life may feel like you're closing some old chapters, or you need some closure in order to move on and get to a higher, more mature point in your life. The world also is great success. It may even show you working internationally. It may even talk about notoriety, fame, and accolades. So, yes, again, because you had that um, magician card in the deck before, you can graduate and get your education. I mean, this isn't something you need to ask the cards. The cards can't control your destiny. If you're determined to go ahead and do so, you can absolutely do so. If you want to further your career, it's all contingent on your willpower and your sense of discipline. The world is saying you can have all the rewards that you're seeking. If you want that lifestyle, if you want that sort of income, if you want the status, you can have that. But again, the world is like an evolution and a graduation from the lessons. So you got to make sure you're putting in the work, you're learning the lessons that are coming up for you, and you're thriving that way. And your last question is, will I have true financial stability and peace? Honorable ancestors, answer this. Okay. Oh, that fell out. So you have cards flying out. The Three of Cups flew out for will I have true financial stability and peace. Three of Cups represents hearing beautiful news, great successful news. It is celebration amongst people that love and care for you the best. It is allowing yourself to let your hair down and really living your best life. It is a card that kind of brings in positive energy, again, celebration, partying, really feeling like, oh, you've come to a point in your life where you can relax because everything is transpiring the way that you've envisioned. Three of Cups is also listening to the consultations of your best friends or women that love and support you the most. Maybe your mom, maybe your auntie, maybe your sister, maybe your besties, what have you, because they've got the advice. They care. They want to see you uplifted. So, yes, also, Cups talk about emotional well-being. You know, what you pour your heart and soul into. You know, your sense of intuition, your sense of psychic sensitivity. So to see all of this as the number 3, that means that there is a balance here in the body, the mind, and the soul. You're recalibrating things. You're starting from a position of power. So this is really great. You are absolutely going to have all of that. Let me pull out an oracle card to see what can best guide you at this time. Honorable ancestors, what is the oracle card that can best assist her at this time? So you're getting the Death card. Death says, the noticeable end of a cycle or situation, grieving or mourning a loss in order to heal. It's time to watch the old way leave itself in the past. Allow feelings of grief or sadness to move you with ease. Meditate on this when you want to honor an ending, loss, or letting go in your life with grace. Without death, there is no life, and vice versa. The symbol skull and rose. The skull and rose as a symbol that all is sacred in life and death. So the Death card really talks about that you're shedding an old chapter in your life. That may mean that you need to change lifestyles, belief systems, habits. People need to change, relationships need to change, friendship needs to change, ideas need to change. So Let that fall by the wayside so you can make space for that which you really, really want in your life, because it's about cleansing. It's a period of cleansing and transformation. So honor the process and be gentle with yourself during the time being. So I hope this served you well. Thank you so much for booking with me. I wish you the best. Be well. Bye.